Welcome Star Wars fans to the Hyperspace Database. I'm Jonesy the Mandalorian, and here's today's episode. The ARC-170. The Aggressive Reconnaissance 170 Starfighter, also called the ARC-170, was a heavy-duty starfighter developed as a joint venture between the Incom Corporation and Subpro Corporations for the Clone Wars, and was used exclusively by the Grand Army of the Republic during that conflict. The ARC-170 was a multi-purpose starfighter that was effective in multiple roles, with its dual medium laser cannons and proton torpedoes making it dangerous in dogfights, as well as a hazard to capital ships and smaller corvettes as a light bomber. One of the big advantages to this ship was its rear tail gunner, who could provide cover fire as the fighter made strafing runs on larger capital ships, or when tailed by enemy fighters. This ship was a successor to the popular clone Z-95 Headhunter, which was also produced by Incom and Subpro, and its improvements included heavier laser cannons as well as a hyperdrive, and room for more than just one pilot. The ARC-170 was also equipped with 2 fixed wings and 4 S-foil wings that aided in maneuverability, as well as deflector shields that were rumored to allow some modified versions of the ship to reach hypersonic speeds in atmosphere, though that was probably only just a rumor to increase sales. The ARC-170 was involved in numerous battles in the Clone Wars, as it was the staple fighter of the Grand Army of the Republic, and was deployed alongside the Jedi Eta II Actis-class interceptor, the V-19 Torrent fighter, as well as coupled with the clone BTLB Y-wing bomber and the Alpha III Nimbus V-wing. It was much heavier built and larger than the V-wing and the Actis class, which came at a cost in maneuverability and overall speed, but it was extremely durable and dependable, often being sent into the thick of the fight knowing it would come out successfully. They were normally deployed and stored aboard Venator-class Star Destroyers, but they were also used several times in strike raids and scouting missions deep into enemy territory on their own. The ARC-170 was seen several times in the Clone Wars TV show, as it was used on several planets to fight against Separatist forces. It was deployed on the Dug homeworld of Malastare to accompany several clone bombers in their bombing run on the invading Separatist forces, though this run would in turn awaken the fearsome Zillo beast from its slumber. Here's a really cool behind-the-scenes moment. In this scene, the engine sounds of the ARC-170s as they escort the bombers match the X-Wing sound effects in the original trilogy, most likely as an additional nod to the link between these two ships, besides its more obvious S-foil wing design. ARC-170 fighters are seen at the beginning of Revenge of the Sith in the Battle for Coruscant, when Anakin and Obi-Wan make their run on Grievous's flagship, the Invisible Hand. Clone Commander CC-2237, or Oddball, led his squadron of ARC-170s to escort the Jedi in their attack, and though many of these ships were destroyed in the battle, Oddball would survive, and the Jedi were able to crash land on the Separatist flagship. Later on in the movie, more ARC-170s would be seen, though this was during the Order 66 montage, as Jedi Master Plo Koon was flying over Cato Nemoidia with his clone forces, led by Captain Jag. Jag would receive the order from Palpatine and proceed to shoot down the Jedi Master, and despite his flying prowess, Master Koon would crash into the city bridges on the planet and perish. There was an elite squadron of clone troopers that operated during the Clone Wars called Razor Squadron that flew customized versions of the ARC-170, painted with the famous blue tiger stripe paint job, which featured a Rancor design on the nose of the craft, and these ships were used for major offensives as well as aggressive recon missions. Their crews were trained by ARC troopers for special missions, and operated in more dangerous areas of combat than their trooper brothers. This tiger stripe paint job was similar in appearance to the LAATI design used by the Alpha-class ARC trooper team, the Munalinsk 10, in the Tartakovsky Clone Wars series, who fought against General Grievous on the planet Hypori, in order to rescue the surviving Jedi who had been fighting the droid general for some time before. There is another squad called Bullseye Squad who used modified ARC-170s, though this paint job had a red-themed tiger stripe instead of the blue. After the rise of the Empire, all of the ARC-170s were folded into the new Imperial Navy, and were repainted with the traditional Imperial gray and Imperial crest instead of the Grand Army of the Republic white and GAR symbol. There were several ARC-170 fighters that were a part of Green Squadron, which was used as a part of the Shrouded Offensive operation on the planet Ostor in the early years of the Empire. After several days of frustrating defeats, the Empire sent in Darth Vader to lead Green Squadron and his fighters, to obliterate the rogue clone trooper Kadak and his squad of old V-19 Torrent fighters. Vader cleaned up the enemy units with his superior flying, and then the ARC-170s proceeded to raze the enemy city to the ground. While the Imperial Navy had the majority of the ARC-170 fighters until they were replaced by the TIE Fighter line of ships, some 170s were stolen or salvaged and used by the Rebel Alliance. That is, until the development of its successor, the legendary X-Wing fighter, though many 170s would continue to be used as the Rebellion had need of them. Here's another fun fact. The ARC-170 got its name from the concept piece ARC-170, which was the name of a concept art piece by artist Ryan Church. This design would be the basis for the final design of the ship, minus the connected Top Gunner station in favor of an astromech slot, probably to make it look even more similar to the X-Wing fighter. While the ARC-170 is seen mostly in the TV shows and movies, there are several appearances of the ship in video games and toy lines. The ARC-170 is a game piece in the X-Wing tabletop miniatures game, and there are several toy versions of the ARC-170 that were released along several LEGO versions as well. One really cool ARC-170 toy is the Transformer ARC-170, which has the tiger stripe paint job and a miniature clone trooper pilot. The ARC-170 is also seen in several video games, most notably in the LEGO Star Wars games, and in several of the Battlefront games, where you can fly it against separatist flagships and enemy fighters. Plus, it makes appearances in other games that take place during the Clone Wars era. The ARC-170 served in a very important role in the Clone Wars, fitting into that heavy multi-role starfighter category that most of the other Republic ships were not a part of. And this versatility would directly influence the creation of another legendary multi-role ship, the jack-of-all-trades X-Wing Starfighter. Want to know more about great Star Wars topics like this one? Stick around to the end for some secret trivia, hit those like and subscribe buttons, and the bell to be notified about every video I publish. Be sure to chat me up in the comments because I really want to hear from you. Super special shout out to my Gold Captain level Patreon supporters Nick Sutphin, Miss2003, and Matthew Scott. Your support is super helpful in keeping the show going. Thank you very much. If you'd like to support the show, you can check out the new memberships feature on YouTube as well, and chat me up in the comments because I really like talking to you. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next episode.